And it kind of brings us back to that what we were discussing at the beginning, which is really, it's from John, so thanks for that. How do we measure the success of an inclusive recruitment process for neurodiverse candidates? And are there specific metrics or indicators we should be tracking as a HR or talent acquisition team?
Well, I would say, like, you have to make a decision based on your starting point of what success looks like. Because if you're starting on a low base, success for you might actually be getting the appropriate training for all of your team, right? That can be a measurement of success. And that should be happening anyway, to be honest, in this day and age.
Sure.
And that's not just about neurodiversity, that's about cultural awareness and all sorts of D&I training.
Yeah.
But then I would be saying you should be surveying people, giving them the opportunity to do a voluntary anonymous survey, both when they're applying. So sometimes we do the survey at the interview, or we do it in work. But actually, wouldn't it be great to be asking people who've just completed the application process? And then to ask people who have gotten through, maybe ask them again, give them the opportunity to share whether they're, neurodivergent, have the disability, what social group they identify with, and have a look at the correlation between those percentages and really start to see, is there an increase year on year actually in the diversity of people who are coming through our hiring process? Because that's a measurement of success. That's a clear measurement of success. And what I would then be saying is, that's obviously the recruiter, but if there's anybody on here who's doing recruitment internally, it isn't enough within an organization to be measuring the people you're hiring. You need to be looking at the diversity of your senior leadership teams, because it's all good and well hiring people, but are they getting through the ranks? Because if they're not, then you're not inclusive.
Okay, brilliant. And final words from yourself, Noreen and Naya, that point.
Absolutely agreeing. It's a wonderful part of my job that I'm now supporting people through their promotion interviews and so on. A point I would add there is that reasonable accommodations don't stop when someone becomes a manager. So making sure that the opportunity to ask for reasonable accommodations, those not double-barrel questions and so on, which should be the same for all interviews, not just people who have autism, ADHD and so on. But just basically create a safe space for people to communicate their needs.
Well, that's brilliant. Last word to you, Naya.
Yeah, I think a lot of EDI initiatives and neurodiversity, there's so much to do. And if you're only starting to look at it, don't get too overwhelmed, because we've all been, and I can speak from my own experience, we all have to start somewhere. So once you do take stock, then you can go, okay, we're doing really poorly on a lot of areas. I don't know if we're doing anything good yet, but we'll figure it out and take the next easiest step. Because even if you're starting with one person, that's one person. You can get such great understanding of the experience of a neurodiverse person in your organization by helping the one and going through that process and going, look, I know we're not doing the best that we could be doing. Help us, so that way the next person who goes through the promotion process, the lateral movement process, coming into the organization process,
sure,
they're not going to have to fight as hard, because we spend so much energy trying to fit into a box, when how much more creative, how much more productive would we be if we could use that energy just to get our work done, instead of having to fight the norms that are there.